So I am no longer Associate Dean. I'm back to being Professor Andy Horwitz, and I run the Criminal Defense Clinic here at the school. So the in-house clinical programs are all for 8 credits. There aren't varying credit options available like there are for the externships. What the 8-credit Criminal Defense Clinic experience involves is predominantly the representation by you under my supervision of real life people charged with criminal offenses, generally misdemeanor criminal offenses here in the state of Rhode Island. We also do a fair amount of practice at the Rhode Island Traffic Tribunal, which is our statewide traffic court, which handles breathalyzer refusal cases. People who are arrested, charged, or suspected of drunk driving, refuse to submit to a breath or other chemical test, wind up charged with a very serious but civil offense over at the Traffic Tribunal, and we do a lot of those cases as well. The model in a clinical program is that the students are the attorneys. So you are eligible under Rule 9 of our local Supreme Court rules to practice law under the supervision of a licensed attorney, in this setting me, and you become primarily responsible for each of your cases. So if you were to do an externship in the public defender's office, either here or in Massachusetts, you would see a much higher volume of cases and be involved in some level in a much higher volume of cases, but the attorney you would be working with would be the attorney primarily responsible for the case. The clinic is a very different model where we do far fewer cases. We work our cases very, very hard in a way that a public defender sometimes can't, just based on pure volume alone. And you own the responsibility. So you are the person doing the interview with the client. You are the person counseling the client, negotiating with the prosecutor, and if the case goes to trial, you're the person trying the case, with me sitting next to you, sort of jabbing you in the ribs and whispering and sometimes calling timeouts, but you are the person who ultimately is handling the matter. So it's a different educational model from an externship. Both quite valuable experiences, just different. So you want to think about what may suit your personal style better and more effectively. There is a prerequisite for the Criminal Defense Clinic, which is that you must have taken trial advocacy. So if you're not presently taking trial advocacy, by definition, you probably need to be applying for the Criminal Defense Clinic for next spring and make sure that in the fall you take trial advocacy so you have the prerequisite course. For scheduling purposes, because the clinic is 8 credits, it's anticipated that it'll be more than half of your credit load for that semester. You need to have 3 days during the week in which you do not have classes for the better part of or all of the day, because you need to be available to go to court when our cases go to court, and on a misdemeanor caseload, we go to court quite often. I'm in court pretty much every day with students operating in the clinic. The class meets twice a week for 2 hours or 1 hour and 40 minutes each time. That's built into the 8-credit model. The other expectation is that you will roughly, on average, devote about 20 hours of work per week to work on your clinic caseload. Couple of last quick things. Sometimes students sign up for the Criminal Defense Clinic because they really want to get trial experience. Well, our clinic represents the real-life world of what's happening in misdemeanor criminal cases out there, which is that very few get tried. So on average, with 10 students in a clinic each semester, we try on average about 5 cases during a semester, so that you can do the math, gives you sort of a 50-50 chance that maybe you'll get a trial experience. But you probably won't. And you ought not be in the Criminal Defense Clinic for that reason. You ought to be in the Criminal Defense Clinic because you want to learn about what it feels like and what it involves to be a lawyer interacting with an individual client, what that attorney-client relationship is about, what it's like to negotiate with an adversary, what it's like to appear in court, and those sorts of things. That really is the bread and butter of what we're working on in the clinic. Okay, so I think I'll leave it there because we have others who need to present. But by all means, feel entirely free to contact me by email, phone, whatever. I'm happy to answer whatever questions you have. I would also suggest that one of the best things you can do is talk to students who've been in the clinic, any of these programs for that matter, because they can give you a perspective that, frankly, those of us who teach it can't quite give you, and that's very worthwhile information for you.